Sick.
I'd like to introduce you guys to the all-new Yeti SB165. It's the successor to the SB6, so it's got 27.5-inch wheels. They've bumped up the travel to 165 out back and 180 up front, so it's ready to rip. Let's dig into some details. After updating their 29ers just last year, Yeti's most loved 27.5 bike was also due for an update. The new SB165 shows an obvious influence from the recently introduced SB150 and 130 and helps round out the lineup with a burly rig. I spent the day getting to know the SB165 on some rowdy trails in Slovenia and Italy, getting thrown straight into the thick of it with little descending time to warm up, and you know what? The bike ate it up with just a few small tweaks.
Oh my God.
So, what's new? It's been a bit since the SB6 was introduced and things have progressed, especially in the geometry realm. Compared to the SB6, the SB165 is a good deal slacker and longer. At 63.5 degrees, this is now the slackest bike in Yeti's lineup. It's paired with a shorter 37mm offset fork that now goes hand in hand with bikes built for speed. Reach values have also increased up to 430 to 505 millimeters across the size range. The seat tube, which is now lower and uninterrupted for dropper compatibility, is also steeper at an effective 77 degrees. Yeti has forged ahead with their suspension design as well, and the SB165 gets the latest version of the Switch Infinity system tailored to a 165mm travel bike, the longest in a while from Yeti. Now, Switch Infinity uses a translating pivot built by Fox that switches direction as the bike moves through its travel, which helps to dial in anti-squat and suspension performance across the entire stroke. So with the up and down movement of the pivot, Yeti's basically aiming to provide good pedaling traits across a large range of sag values, but to have things fall off deeper in the travel to prevent pedal kickback, something you just don't want out there. Now with 165 millimeters of travel on tap and big intentions, Yeti upped the progression of this bike significantly to provide good performance with a coil shock. At 27.5% progression, they've actually designated it coil-specific. Out back, the Dave Ziegman-tuned Fox Factory DHX2 shock uses a moto-inspired tune that is not a stock option. Finally, this thing meets Yeti's downhill standards, making it officially dual crown compatible. How sick is that? I joined in on a trip with H&I Adventures just outside of Bovec, Slovenia to check out the bike, meet the locals, and sample all of the cheese. Our mega ride descended through the Alps from Slovenia to Italy, offering an incredible variety of terrain that was recently used for a local enduro event. Pedaling over rocks and roots has a very smooth feel. Things are just a bit slow due to the size of the bike, but it's very adept with minimal movement-induced bouncing through the tech stuff. There's loads of traction, and it's more than reasonable when it comes to weight. Now, combined with a 77-degree effective seat tube angle, pedaling performance just wasn't a concern. Pointed downhill, I really enjoyed the front end feel of this bike. You can brake for days on it and get into the line that you need to get into.
This bike has just incredible front end bite. Really is awesome. Braking is excellent.
It turns incredibly well with a short offset front end. And though the bike is very slack, it works well in the majority of trail situations. There really wasn't an adverse impact from the slack head angle, and the added length also felt natural from the get-go. At 5 foot 10 inches tall, I chose a size medium with a 460mm reach. I really enjoyed the support that the bike offers as you push into it. It's coil sprung and quite progressive, and I never felt the bottom end of it. Plus you get that nice supple off the top feel of a coil and phenomenal mid-stroke support. It felt like this bike was really nice in the corners, when pumping, and when pedaling. Thanks to the consistently progressive leverage curve and the nature of a coil shock, the rear end feel is super predictable and accommodating. Although the suggested shock settings weren't 100% bang on, they were really close. I did back out the shock's high-speed compression 3 or 4 clicks to just get a little bit of extra compliance on the rocks, which made a nice improvement. There's minimal pedal kickback, which makes for a very planted feel on the pedals. You just lock in on this thing. Paired with a 180mm Fox 36 fork up front and ruling, hang on. I was grinning ear to ear as I mashed into descents blindly. All in all, Yeti's done a really nice job on the suspension side with the SB165. Both predictability and ease of tuning shine, and this is a bike that you can just hop on and give her. It's easy to ride, it's audibly quiet, and it makes for a ride that welcomes you to charge. For those wondering, the rear end is notably stiffer than the 29-inch versions, at least compared to the original model of SB150 that I tried. It's pretty nice back there on the 165. Looking the bike over, Yeti nailed a lot of the finer details as well. I appreciate that they went to tube-and-tube style cable routing with a dropper cable access store underneath. It fits a bottle now, thank God. It has great integrated protection throughout and an optional shuttle guard. I also dig the oversized suspension bearings and that the bike shares much of the same hardware with Yeti's other new models. Spec-wise, Yeti pretty much crushed it with custom E-Series DT Swiss wheels that are a bit more durable thanks to a welded E-rated rim, an 800mm wide handlebar, dual 200mm rotors and proper brakes, plus a 1-up bash guide. I really dig that Yeti went to a tougher Maxxis XO Plus casing tire for the 165, which is just a nice improvement for minimal weight. Would I still love to see a double down tire on the rear though? You bet. Regardless, mud clearance is pretty good with the stock 2.4-inch Maxxis DHR2 rear tire. Yeti has 5 complete builds, including C-Series bikes starting at $55.99 US and the higher-end carbon TURQ series starting at $71.99. There's also a frame-only option, and they are all backed by a lifetime warranty. I came to Slovenia knowing there was room for improvement on Yeti's Premier 27.5 bike, and I left thinking the SB165 not only met but far exceeded expectations. It has impressive suspension performance and dialed geo, which allow you to put full confidence into the bike. Dropping into some hairy terrain, I was full gas, sight unseen, finding a lot of faith in the bike's consistency. It's evident that Yeti's really done their testing on this one, and I encourage you to start with their suspension setup guide because it's close to bang on. I think this would be a really fun park bike, an excellent enduro race bike for those that prefer 27.5 wheels, and for the guy who has some pretty rowdy trails at his back door, even a great everyday option. I can't wait to see what guys like Richie Rude and Sean Neer get up to on the SB165. Dual Crown Destroyer anyone? Yeti gave the go-ahead. That's all from Slovenia. Check out vitalmtb.com and yeticycles.com for more details.
Radness.